Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, June 25th. Getting off to a great start here. Thanks for joining us here for 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney here with your top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you for joining us here where you get the rundown of what's going on here in Northeast Ohio, also nationally as it impacts us here in Ohio. It's Thursday, so that means we've got those up-to-date unemployment numbers. So let's talk about those for a minute. Nationally, there have been 1.48 million new unemployment claims in the country. This is a drop. That is a huge number, but it is still a drop. The 12th drop in a row for the past 12 weeks, so that has been on the decline. When we take a look at the unemployment numbers in May, the rate was 13.3%, which is very high. That was down from April, which was 14.7%, and that is the highest level of unemployment that we have seen since the Great Depression. However, as we see states beginning to open up around the country, real-time data suggests that small businesses are slowing that growth compared to what we saw in May for the month of June. And that has been related to resurgences of COVID-19 cases. That's what the experts are saying. In Ohio, new unemployment claims fell for the 8th straight week. Last week, there were 34,553 new unemployment claims. Now, when we talk about these new unemployment claims, we are talking about traditional unemployment claims in Ohio. We're not talking about those expanded pandemic unemployment benefits. Those are the benefits that apply to 1099 workers, people who have already exhausted their unemployment benefits, and those people who wouldn't traditionally apply that are not W-2 workers. So those are people that are not being counted when we look at those numbers at that point. Now, here in Ohio, our unemployment rates have been higher than the national rates. In April, our unemployment rate was 17.6%. In May, it did drop to 13.7%, but both of those numbers were worse than the national numbers. Here in Ohio, there have been a total of 1.4 million new jobless claims over the last 14 weeks, which is more than the last 3 years combined, thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services has paid $4.4 billion in unemployment benefits to more than 716,000 workers, but that's not everyone. Only about 94% of claims have been processed, so that's leaving tens of thousands of people without those benefits that they do need. And we do know that Ohio did have to turn to borrowing from the federal government in order to pay those unemployment claims. But keep filing, be vigilant, go to unemployment.ohio.gov, keep doing your weekly filings because the money is supposed to be there. Ohio has also paid more than $2.8 billion in pandemic unemployment benefits to 332,000 workers. That's those expanded benefits that we are talking about. And of course, at least through July 31st, if you're getting those unemployment benefits, you will expect that additional $600 to kick in from the federal government. That is at least through July 31st. There is a bill that's kicking its way around in Congress right now to potentially extend that, to potentially provide another stimulus payment to people throughout the country. And of course, we are keeping an eye on that. Now we have a sobering reminder for all of us that COVID-19 does not care about our milestones. It does not care about our summer plans, and it does not care about our social life. And a family in North Texas is learning that the hard way after a surprise birthday party on May 30th that led to 18 people in that family being infected with COVID-19 and 3 of those people being hospitalized. Ron Barbosa is now keeping track of those people in his family. Now, he didn't attend the party himself, but the party was for his daughter-in-law who turned 30. Major milestone, of course, in someone's life. However, not necessarily the best time to be celebrating those things in person. So the 18 people who became infected after that party didn't all go to the party. 7 people went to the party with someone who was unknowingly infected, and then those 7 people interacted with 10 other family members, and now 18 people in Ron Barbosa's family are now infected with COVID-19, and at least 3 of them are hospitalized. So 2 young children have been infected, 2 grandparents have been infected. Ron's mom and dad, Frank and Carol, who are in their 80s, have been infected and are hospitalized, and Ron's sister Kathy, who has breast cancer, has been infected and is hospitalized. It was Ron's nephew who hosted the party, and he thought that he just had a slight cough. And they all said that they maintained physical distance at the party. Kathy Ron's sister with breast cancer, she said she was out on the patio, staying distant, but it was not enough. She still became infected with COVID-19 and is now hospitalized. Now, Ron says that Kathy is doing okay, but his parents, Frank and Carol, are not doing that great. Carol infected Frank. Carol didn't really go to the party per se. She just stopped by to drop something off, but then she infected Frank, who did not go to the party. Carol's been in the hospital since June 13th, so 12 days now, and Frank has been in the hospital since June 17th. He is in the ICU and on life support. And Ron told our sister station WFAA that he is inches away from being put on a ventilator, and he said that his dad is hanging on by a thread. And they're saying that this is maybe one of the last straws for his dad. So that's a tough story to hear, but it's something that we need to hear because we need to know what's happening with people who are getting back out there. They are following the protocols, and people are still ending up hospitalized related to COVID-19. So hearing that story makes this next story a little bit easier to swallow. The Pro Football Hall of Fame game has reportedly been canceled. This is something we talked about earlier this week. This is according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. He is citing leak sources saying that it has been canceled, the official kickoff to the NFL preseason. So it was supposed to be on Thursday, August 6th. That's the Cowboys versus the Steelers. But apparently that's not going to be happening right now. He said, according to sources, the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers are expected to play in next year's Hall of Fame game in 2021, and the enshrinement ceremony is also expected to be held next year. So here at 3 News, we reached out to the Pro Football Hall of Fame for a statement after this report came out from Schefter, and this is what Rich Desrosiers, the Vice President of Communications and Public Relations at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, said. He said, "We're hearing the same thing you are via ESPN. We know the owners are meeting later today with their preseason schedule as an agenda item. He will reach back to us if he hears anything definitive at this time." So we do know that on June 16th, Governor Mike DeWine also said that even if the Pro Football Hall of Fame game did take place, it would be highly unlikely that there would be fans in the stands because it's just not the right time because of COVID-19 concerns. Let's talk about those numbers here in Ohio now. These are the numbers that we have from yesterday as of 2 p.m. from the Ohio Department of Health. Cases were up yesterday. Deaths, hospitalizations, and ICU numbers were down from the previous day. So yesterday we saw 632 new cases of COVID-19. We've seen those numbers in the 500s with a couple days in the 700s. Now we have a day in the 600s. This is after we had a stint of quite some time when we were seeing numbers in the mid 300s, in the mid 400s. So the numbers are definitely not going the way we want them to be going. So yesterday we saw 632 new reported cases. That's up from Tuesday when we saw 590 new reported cases, and it was on Monday when we saw that big surge where there were 729 new reported cases of COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio. That brings our total, dating all the way back to March 9th, to now 46,759. The total number of deaths is now 2,755. The total number of deaths is at that number now with a slight decrease in the new reported deaths yesterday. We saw 20 new reported deaths on Wednesday after seeing 31 new reported deaths on Tuesday. Now the numbers on Monday and Sunday were quite low. There were 4 new reported deaths on Monday and 3 new reported deaths on Sunday. Of course, every single death is significant, but when we're comparing those numbers from day to day, that is a big difference in those numbers. The total number of hospitalizations dating back to March 9th is now 7,447. We saw 68 new hospitalizations yesterday. That was down from what we saw on Tuesday when we saw 87 new hospitalizations. And the total number of ICU admissions is now 1,886, with 10 new ICU admissions reported yesterday, which is also down from what we saw on Tuesday. There were 24 new ICU admissions on Tuesday. So those numbers are really bouncing back and forth, kind of jumping all over the place. Now let's end things here on a positive note. We want to share an update with you on the story of the Norton cheerleader, PFOUTS, who 3 months ago had a severe asthma attack that left her in a coma. So we've been following her story. She is at home now, and she recently had surgery to flatten her feet. And during therapy, she was able to stand on her feet for the first time. So that was a major milestone for her to celebrate. Our Romney Smith talked with PFOUTS family, and they are very excited about that. Emma is using cheerleading as her motivation. She is a cheerleader at Norton High School, and what she's doing right now is she's working on clapping. She's not getting that loud sound just yet, but she is making some soft noises, and she's working on that clapping, very adamant about getting back into that cheerleading. Pretty soon, right now she's doing therapy a couple times a week, but pretty soon she'll be increasing that speech, occupational, and physical therapy to 5 days a week. So her family is looking forward to that. There has been sort of a change in how the therapy is happening. They don't always get to have hands-on therapy because of the COVID-19 situation, but they are working towards getting those more therapy sessions in. And Emma really wants to get back to cheerleading and also driving. She is very excited to drive, and we are very excited about seeing Emma on the road once she gets to the end of the road of her recovery. So congratulations to Emma on that milestone, on standing on those feet after you had that surgery. She's already had multiple surgeries. This is another milestone for her that we're very excited to share with you all. Next up, Vice President Mike Pence is expected to visit Lordstown Motors. The company is unveiling its all-new electric pickup truck, the Endurance, today. So the base price of that truck right now is $52,500, and it seats up to 5 people. We are there. They're unveiling the truck at noon, and Vice President is expected to speak at 12:30, so you'll be able to see that on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. If you haven't yet downloaded our WKYC app, make sure you do that, because you'll be able to see all of our live streams there, and you can also see all of our shows streaming for free on the WKYC app if you don't have cable, which would include What's New on 5 p.m. That's the show that I'm a part of, where I bring the trending stories and the entertainment news, along with Jay Crawford and Betsy Kling, who are the hosts, Matt Wintz, who is hilarious and delivers us our weather, and a whole cast of other people who come in and bring the fun and bring you the great stories, as well as our great shows, What Matters Most at 6 p.m., Front Row at 7 p.m., and What's Next at 11 p.m. So if you don't have it, download that WKYC app. We also have a feature coming where you'll be able to send us your own photos and videos so we can use those online and on our broadcasts. That's it for your 3 News Now early update for Thursday, June 25th. Again, remember, Mike Pence will be at Lordstown. We'll have that for you. That'll be at 12:30 p.m. And I'll be back here at 2 p.m. as soon as we get those updated numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. I'm Stephanie Haney.